like Bruce Wally.
Yo, so let's get it then. So I don't know. I think a bit awkward to start off with, but yeah. Obviously, the first topic is going to be why RW flopped. I know we got players here, got org owners, we got casters. So I think we got a bit of everything going on.
We are an absolute gangbang of joy.
What a great start!
Like gangbang of joy.
I was gonna say, as soon as we turned the stream on, like everybody went quiet. Like do I have to talk now?
I just sort of heard you go, "Oh, obviously we don't know how to start this." I was like, "Oh shit, you started."
I probably should have said something like,
Wait,
"We started."
Test run?
No, we're going.
No, okay, right.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Alright.
So.
Oh, fixing his hair. Look at him after all that. He's like, shit, where the e-girls, yo? Look at Nico fucking stroking his face, his imaginary beard. And he's lost it.
I'm actually growing a moustache though. It's like
A
properly.
moustache? What the fuck's a moustache?
Moustache. Look.
Yeah, I have a moustache as well, but you know,
Do you?
yeah,
Yeah, no
but
one can
it's
see it,
it's
like,
blonde like
it's
my
like
eyebrows, yeah. So no one can see it.
Nope.
Madness.
Okay, we've already kind of swayed off topic already.
Alright, go on, back on topic then.
Okay, yeah. So Brody, I don't know if you want to start with like your opinion because I don't know.
Why IW flopped?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do I start? It's an awful game. We'll put it that way. At least in my opinion, absolutely awful game compared to old CODs. Anyway, even compared to the older Jetpack CODs, just didn't work. At least for me. Maybe I was just bad at it, but at least from my opinion, it wasn't a good COD. If anyone wants to add on that.
I was gonna say, but like, there's definitely been like good and bad things for you within COD because you know you've obviously grown your casting career from it. You know, you started well. You've made a rebound on your org and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So it's kind of been good for you. Maybe like a startup for you know maybe later CODs or so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think just from an enjoyability perspective, at least for me, playing IW for me is just not fun. It's not a fun experience. It's probably the first COD where exactly. It's probably the first COD where I haven't actually hit first prestige. I haven't even hit it. I haven't spent that enough time on the game. I just haven't enjoyed it. Especially, I think the supply drop system in this game is even worse than it was in Black Ops 3. It just deters people. At least I think that way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, with the like the variants and so on and so forth. It's kind of made it impossible, really, to play pubs. You know, the only reason why people did play pubs was for I don't even know what that dot was called, the blue dot.
Oh fucking hell!
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with that.
I think as well. Like when you get a kill on IW on pubs, at least like there's not that like if you got a kill on Black Ops 2 or like Modern Warfare 2 or like Modern Warfare 3, I'd feel like.
Some
Like
sort of
I'd
satisfaction.
achieved something, like there was some sort of satisfaction. With IW, I don't know whether it was like the way the hit markers felt or something like that. Like you just when you got a kill, it didn't feel like you'd got something.
It's because you don't. Killing someone in IW didn't mean nothing because you can get across the map in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas before it's like, well, it takes a wee bit of time to get back to the position. In this game, it's just you kill them and they're fucking back there before you can even get to where you killed them.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's probably like the kills actually meant something because if not, they're just gonna spawn and like run back at you. So like it was like a never-ending thing, you know, within pubs.
Yeah, I think that might be a problem overall with Jetpack CODs, I'm not going to lie. Even in IW, I think the system is probably worse than Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3, where the wall running and the flying high, as a combination of that, again, just the fast-paced movement and being able to get across the map in like 10 seconds, it just makes it so awful. And like you say, it's almost impossible to spawn trap, at least on new CODs. So even in pubs, it's quite hard to do so.
I said that well. Oh, go on, talk. Sorry.
No, I just said yeah. I don't.
So we're like speech therapy coins. Yeah.
What I was gonna say was like it kind of brought it into the competitive scene as well. You know how fast it is, and then with Hardpoint, it made the game really inconsistent with the spawns. You know, people trying to run up. Like you could get to the hill in like 5-10 seconds, even if you did spawn on the other side of the map.
Don't get me started on the competitive aspect. There's too many things that was wrong with that this year. Pro points, for example.
Oh yeah.
You get before obviously they brought in the cap, but before the cap, what if you're unemployed, doing fuck all with your life? You know,
or
you get
well,
rewarded for playing a shit ton and forfeiting people. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah,
Not the way you do it.
or being a professional really, because you know that is your main job. So you have more time to put into it, and then so like the pros always stay at like their point, and then there was no real, you know, because well, just looking at all the pros really hasn't changed, you know, around like 2 or 3 different people.
Yeah.
Within the
It's
scene.
basically.
I think it just meant that if you played more, like no matter how good you were, like it's not like if you lost one of the GBs, it's not like you lost pro points, which
Yeah.
which could have made it a better, I guess. I don't know, but it just meant that the more you played, the more you kind of got better. And it meant that people who were higher on the leaderboards weren't necessarily the best players on the game.
Oh, you
Yeah.
I think that made it a bit crap.
So
The thing is, right, is with IW. So I've been playing COD every year since Modern Warfare 1 because I'm literally that old now. And like Advanced Warfare for me was the worst game for pubs because of the variant system and things like that. Now, if you look at IW, they've literally taken the worst of everything and put it into one game. So you've got supply drops, you've got variants, you've got wall running, you've got specialists. You've literally got everything which people don't want in one place, which is why I didn't even bother fucking playing like half of. I think I'm maybe like level 30, and that's really weird for me. I've been playing Ghosts most of the year because I bloody love the game, whereas IW on that front is shit. And from a competitive perspective, if you look at it, you've got people now earning stupid money. Like we're talking people on over $2,000 a month to play COD. Like just let that sink in.
yeah,
You've got people literally not going out and getting jobs because they can afford to sit there and just play COD all the time, right? And just sit there over and over and over again, which is causing like a massive skill gap, which is great for European professional COD, but not so much for the middle ground. I mean, if you look at players like Era who qualified for COD champs, you know, they weren't expected to go and do anything, but at the same time, there was such a gap when they got there, and that's because these guys have lives. They don't sit around and just play COD all the time. And I'm not ripping pro players, well, because it's amazing they get that. But at the same time, it's causing such a divide between pro, semi-pro, and amateur, where, to be honest with you, it's putting people off getting into esports. I mean, that's just an opinion, but overall, I just think the game is absolutely Ebola. It's awful, awful.
well, I was gonna say, like, it's the way that you're talking about like that. That's kind of like every game. You know, they have the professionals that do get paid. Say an Overwatch player just got his contract for 150k a year.
Yeah.
But look at that scene though. You know, this year in IW, especially, there was the least amount of events, if I was correct. Like overall, so you wouldn't even like be getting the money back, whereas in Overwatch, like the actual league spots cost like 20 million plus.
Yeah.
So it's kind of worth it in that sense, but I don't think for COD, you know, especially with this year and you know how players have been moving around and so on.
I think if I think talking about the skill gap, I think the jump between like amateur and pro is obviously like quite big, as it always will be, but when you're at like the amateur level, the skill gap is like really low. You can probably especially on IW or even Black Ops 3, in my opinion, you could get a player off of pubs that was decent at pubs that had a high prestige level, and like they could know spawns and whatever, and they could just, especially on IW, they could probably just fit into an amateur team.
There wasn't any spawns in IW.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, the skill gap. It makes it so low in that kind of like amateur like scene. The last game that had a decent skill gap was Advanced Warfare, in my opinion, because
he's right with that.
the spawns made sense on Hardpoint. The spawns made complete sense. You had a 2.5 respawn delay, which made the spawns consistent. On IW, if I remember correctly, was it
5 seconds?
5 seconds?
Yeah.
And the reason they had to put that massive respawn delay in was because they couldn't work out how to do the spawns. Because at the beginning of the game, there was no respawn delay. And so they had to put that in because they couldn't understand they couldn't work out how to do the spawns because the game was so quick. Advanced Warfare, the movement was like, it was fast, but there was still like strategy to the way that you'd move around the map. And that's what made the skill gap in Advanced Warfare higher. And you had guns like the BAL, which you got good with it. You got really good with it. And the ASM1 as well. So I think
that was kind of the same as IW a little bit. That you know, not many guns were used, and then like later on, you know, we saw more of a variety come out. We saw say the BAL and the ASMR. You know, later games saw was it the IMR, the 4 burst gun. You know.
Yeah.
The one, yeah.
I love the IMR.
Yeah,
Everyone did.
Yeah. Gentlemen.
Don't forget the Amelie.
Amelie thermal
Yeah, the
TAC
thermal.
19 shotgun.
and the same as this year. You know, it was all about the K bar to start off with. Then the MV4 come in a little bit, and then you know we saw a lot of ERAD, kind of late in, you know, getting into the latest seasons and so on.
I mean, if you think about it, Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3 compared to Call of Duty's before had COD champs at the end of the year, and you saw it this year with smokes. A lot of the Karma was running smokes on every single search and destroy map, even hardpoint sometimes, and a lot of teams were using smokes, which we'd never seen before the end of the year. And I think that's partly why a lot of things were saved until the end of the year, so people could use new strategies for champs that not other people would have played against before. So.
I mean, saying that though, people picked that up quite quickly at champs. We saw, I think it was Luminosity were using smokes just as well. I think there were other teams. So as soon as that happened, and I think that pays, dividends to how quickly teams pick up those kind of strategies. So I think you are right in saying that as well. That's a lot of the reason why we don't see multiple guns being used throughout the year. I mean, the RPR came out, I think, later. I think it was about 3/4 away through the season. The RPR started to be used.
Okay, but
and again,
when
teams
did that even get used?
Very, very quickly as well. So it's just a case of trying to get something going for yourself and then trying to keep that away from teams using it. And I think throwing all the way back to Black Ops 2 as well. There was a perk, and I can't remember for the life of me what perk it was, but Complexity were using it to their advantage. No teams had any idea what it was, and I think it might have been Dexterity, actually, until about halfway through when people were like, well, actually, you should probably be using this perk. And again, it's just one of those things where teams weren't picking it up. And for that reason, actually, that might be the reason why we didn't see a lot of variety in IW.
Just everyone saving it till the very end.
Yeah.
Say, but then, like you say, like in casting and so on, it was just a very repetitive game because of that. You know, we saw the same strats over and over again. You know, we saw the exact same gameplay. And that was it, really.
This is the first year I've not watched champs for the main fact that you knew what was going to happen. There was no surprise to it at all. It was like, right, they're going to go there, get these wavy kills, and this team's going to win. That's it. You knew exactly what was going to happen at every moment. There was barely any upsets this year because, well, there couldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't know how the casters could stay casting for the whole year. It just got so bored. Like me and Reese, you might remember, we did a lot of casting in December and January, and we both got just so bored of it so quickly because it was the same thing day in day out that you were casting, and it was just it was just a hassle to have to do it.
Yeah. And I think as well, because me and Jip casted for a bit as well, I think for Unity and the youth leagues after that as well. I think more than anything, actually, it was the storylines that kept it going. It wasn't anything to do with the gameplay. The gameplay itself wasn't that fun. It was more seeing the teams and these guys who you speak to on a daily basis actually come out and play and win. And I think actually that might be a story for COD as a whole. With just it's more about the players and the teams most of the time, and I think especially in IW with the lack of roster changes here and there up until the end of IW, it's more about the teams you support more than the game itself, which I think actually is a lot of the reason why people didn't like IW.
Going on that, and you know, with the with the casting side, it was kind of I found it quite boring just because you knew who was going to win. You know who was going to win at the end. It was obviously Bulldog. You know, throughout the season, they've just been straight dominant compared to everybody else. And for that, you know, it was a bit boring. So it was kind of good seeing, you know, Wasps show up a little bit.
That was fun.
Yeah, it created something else, you know, taking maps off Bulldog and so on and so forth. It was just, you know, a different bit, and it made it quite enjoying. But, you know, that happened one season out of 3 or 4?
Yeah. This is the 4th season I think we're on now.
That's what it was like back in AW as well, though, on the PlayStation anyway. You always knew who was going to win. It was either Tempo or Team Fleet. One of the two. It was always the same.
Or Kamikaze.
Well, until they broke up and decided to say fuck it.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I don't know. I think everyone's in agreement that the IW is absolute dog shit. There's no two ways about it. If someone likes IW, then they really are strange people. It's like from the amateur perspective, it's absolutely awful. From the pro perspective, it's awful. It's just awful. I can't wait to set fire to it. It's gonna be fucking glorious.
Yeah,
I already have.
So probably the community's shown that by everybody actually going to Ghost. You said earlier, you've majority been playing Ghost. Even public matches are more enjoyable. Something different. You have something to go for instead of maybe even like the atomizer thing. Like you had to have a variant to try and go for a nuke.
That was fucking stupid. What's that? You can't shoot straight with a normal gun. Here's a fucking OP gun. And here, guess what? If you go on a streak because you use suppressor like a dick, here you go. Here's a fucking nuke. What's that? You use a normal gun and you're pretty good. Oh, that's a shame. You get fuck all. That was it. That's pubs.
Well, I think it was like streaks in general, really, for IW. Like I'm saying, the competitive side, it took like 7-8 kills just to get a Trinity rocket.
Oh.
And you know what? If that's gonna get 1-2 kills, is it not even that good?
I guess though, if you're skilled enough to get those, it's more rewarding. I guess in that sense, IW has. I mean, actually, that's a good question to ask. Has IW actually done anything right? Is there anything actually positive that we can take from the IW season?
No. I attended more LAN events. That's all I can take positive from it. No, because everyone was a snake this year. Like, that was it. Everything was based on points. I mean, take it back to the first proper event anyway of IW in the EU. Fucking Epsilon, the team that won Black Ops, not won, sorry, placed second at Black Ops 3 Champs, almost nearly didn't get in because of pro points, because they missed one game, one fucking tourney.
You mean?
And it was just, you're sitting there like, well, they've just done that, and it's like, well, come on. And then even ESWC, you had pro teams like Envy and people like that in the fucking open bracket.
Was that?
You mean Fabi? Do you mean the Fabi team?
Yeah, Fabi Rasta.
Yeah.
They finished fourth.
Joined Epsilon. They joined second. They placed. Fourth. Sorry.
Yeah.
Although I'm not going to lie, I was quite happy at ESWC to see the NA teams in the open bracket after Arsenal Las Vegas, where the EU teams had to play through open, pretty much all of them. It was quite refreshing to see the NA teams play through the open bracket and place like top 12.
It was
so.
I would say it was quite nice to see like a variety of people, actually win the tournaments.
I don't know. Is that a good thing? If anything, that shows the randomness of IW in a nutshell. The fact that I think we had 7 or 8 different winners in major tournaments this year is incredible. That has never happened before. Black Ops 2 had Complexity, Impact, even Advanced Warfare onwards. It's been Optic. I mean, towards the end of the season, fair enough, Optic started to come out a little bit more. But even then, they didn't have an amazing season per se. All they did was really champs in stage 2. And I think there was one major early on. I think it might have been Atlanta, or Dallas. But I think beyond that, I think again that's another thing really. IW just not the fact that we had 7 or 8 champions. I mean, really, that is it. The randomness of IW.
I was just trying to be nice, but okay.
If you really want to talk about the randomness of IW, look at E United when they won Dallas, bet Optic and everything, and then had to go into ESWC in the open bracket after just winning an event the weekend before. They start in the open bracket and then they placed, like, what was it? They didn't even get a good placement.
It's top 12 they finished top 12, yeah.
That's just random. How do you go from winning an event, an American event, placing top 12 in an EU event? Like, that just shouldn't be happening.
And what about... no, go on, Nico.
I just said again.
Nico's classic. But yeah, so what about IW for international teams then, beyond North America? Because last season of Black Ops 3, we saw like Fab and Splice in the Final 4 at COD Champs. This season, EU teams, APAC teams. How has it been? How has it been?
I was going to say, who was even in the APAC teams?
There was
Black, Mind Freak, Tainted Minds.
Yeah, and then you had Mind Freak and Tainted Minds both doing completely trash, and then Mind Freak Black making it into the bracket.
I think, if anything,
that's random as well.
Australian COD for years has been fucking shit. Honestly, it is such a wasted scene. They're so terrible, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, Mind Freak are awesome, but the rest of the teams just do nothing all the time. They get like thousands of bloody dollars to go and fly to this event just to get railed.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say they must spend like so much just to like even fly over and stay.
It's madness.
Like spending more than they're actually getting, like in the end, and then that isn't really a good business decision.
It's the same for EU teams though. Outside of I think 3 teams in the EU, EU didn't fucking really beat America that much this year.
Yeah.
Whereas I went to last year where it was like, oh, EU can actually contend because we done well at champs, and then it came this year and it was flop. Splice won an American event, which was huge. Then done second.
I was gonna say, I think that was good for the EU scene.
Again, it's only 3
Splice
teams that were
winning one.
taken in compared to last year, where we had pretty good placements as a EU scene.
I mean, to be fair, I think Europe this year, at the very least, I would say did a little bit better overall, because we had some teams that really could challenge North American teams. Like the top flight, maybe those like top 5 or 6 could actually challenge. Maybe not elevate under some circumstances, but the rest of them all had their moments. Like Infused at the start were brilliant. I think they were at one point considered like a top 6 international team. And then we had obviously Splice in the middle. They decided to go away towards the end. No idea why. Not really sure what happened there. And then in between we sort of had like Red Reserve and Epsilon who could challenge those teams.
Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic as well. Sorry, well, Fnatic. But beyond that, I think really Europe. I think that actually is the gap between the Pro League and the amateurs that you mentioned earlier, because this year, of course, there aren't like sort of like 6 to 10 European teams that could potentially actually play with that top 6. That got taken away. In my opinion, that actually might have been where the damage was done, because of course it's just further separation between that pro scene and the amateur scene, and again, it just takes opportunities away from players.
At least we had 6 teams in the Pro League until Millennium lost their spot. I mean, ANZ, they only had 1 team in the Pro League for both seasons. And both seasons it was the same team, apart from 1 player.
I was gonna say, I just gotta wonder what their like amateur community is actually like.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Trust me, it's bad.
This is how bad it is. At one point, within the top 5 teams in ANZ, the 5th best team was 2 players, and they had more pro points than the rest of the community, and they were LF2. These 2 players had more points than everyone else in the ANZ community to get in the top 5 for it, and they were LF2. They're not even 2 like known players that have like went to America or that and played at an event. They were just 2 random people.
Yeah.
Played the game like fuck.
But what would happen if APAC players went over to play in America then? If they got more practice continually, say APAC went to every single event, say the top 6 APAC teams continually went, would we see the same effect as Europe, or would it just be that natural skill would still prevent them from doing well?
If you spend 10 hours a day playing COD, you're going to get quite good at it.
Right.
Especially if you're playing the top.
Yeah, like you could put me over there. If someone paid me to play COD, I'd end up being quite good. Like you can put my nan there. Put my nan on the PS4. 10 hours a day, right? You don't let that bitch leave. You make her sit there and you make her play, right? Then she will become like the next Scump. I'm telling you, it's all game time. Like natural talent.
I'm just imagining a granny on the main stage at COD champs. Let's go!
I'll have it under my org. I don't care. Like
drinking Red Bull, she'll be drinking a cup of tea with a jammy dodger dipping it into between rounds of tea. C-Tech Nan.
Yeah. I'm gonna get it on my jersey.
C-Tech Gran. Oh, that was fun. Jesus. Is there any other topics on IW? Like how crap the pro point system was, how inconsistent it was, how crap the guns were, the fact that half the guns had no recoil.
I was gonna say, even the design of the game, like, wasn't even like pleasing to look at.
It felt like a cartoon.
Yeah.
To be fair though, Infinity War games are always quite like washed out. Like Ghost was a good game. It was quite, but it was like better than IW. But the colours were all like it was literally just a different mixture of brown and grey on every map.
Yeah.
That's what you get. Like even AW was a welcome surprise because everything was bright and vibrant. I actually felt quite good.
AW was so good.
It was amazing.
We say that now, but we didn't say it then. We'll probably look back on IW in about 3 or 4 years.
It was the same with Ghost though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was shit. Ghost comp was awful. Like it was just wall banging, dark maps. It was just trash. But but now people go back to it because they've realised actually that IW is so much worse.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like if you bring out a decent game, people would still say Ghost is trash. Like I loved Ghosts for pubs, but comp I absolutely hated it because it was just so erratic. And plus, it takes if you died, like it would seriously mean something. Like trying to get control in Dom is so bloody difficult. Like it's so team orientated, but it's good in that sense, and that's why people play it because there is a skill gap there.
Well, that's a difference in IW. You could kind of have a one-man army. Really, you didn't really need a team to play in the competitive scene. Like you just needed one person to go off, and then that was it. Really, and then you've won the map.
I mean, you needed a team, just.
Obviously, but
one man.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Well, it doesn't even come down to that fact. It comes down to the fact that IW was so boring because we didn't have that many maps. We had 3 uplink maps, 4 hardpoint maps, and 4 S&D maps, and they were all shit.
I was gonna say, and then like they tried to bring in Breakout, and then everybody complained.
Breakout was shit.
Yeah, and go on, Nico. Unless you said
I thought Breakout was really, really bad when I first played it. After playing it for a bit, it wasn't as bad as like what was the map that was it Mayday?
Oh, okay.
Oh, Mayday.
The original one that they had in.
Yes. Oh, Mayday. Don't.
Oh, and with Scorch, Scorch, you couldn't even get in a lobby of Scorch until like 3 quarters.
Yeah, that's why they replaced it, was it not? In the end, they replaced it because it was too glitchy and they didn't know how to fix it.
But it was the same with Hardpoint though. You crash out a Hardpoint, like say me and you casting Brody, like we'd have to try over like 3 or 4 times every time.
They replaced Scorch for the main fact that the game kept ending within 50 seconds because everyone just ran mid, and that was it. That was IW. That's IW as a whole. Run mid, throw nades to the side, and just...
Yeah, I was going to say, is that not every map?
I was going to say, that's why... Yeah, that's why people didn't like Breakout, because it was very lane-oriented. So, you know, everybody would just either push mid or push A. Nobody really touched B over the side, because you know to have somebody sitting back with a sniper. So, I'm guessing that's why people didn't really like it. So, I wasn't, you know, too into playing competitive.
I think if you were to take wall running out of IW, it would be a different game. It's the same. It was the same argument for Black Ops 3. If you took wall running out as like evac, fuck's sake, imagine how well that map would play. You take wall running out of every IW map. Think about how much better it would be because you've not got cunts in the air consistently running across walls with no.
They had a playlist of that, didn't they, in AW?
Yeah, they had Classic, and that was actually. AW is actually quite fun to play on Classic.
I swear they've got a Classic for IW. I might be wrong in saying that.
I was gonna say, IW like didn't actually like.
No jetpacks.
Yeah, like it didn't show anything for anybody because like they just brought the DLCs out as well. Like they didn't even say like anything about it, like any of the maps. Like they didn't like bring like a cinematic trailer or anything. Like it was just there you go.
No one cared towards it. IW knew no one gave a fuck about their game. They knew that only like 12-year-olds were playing it, so they were just like, right, we put this out there, they'll buy it, and that's us happy for another 3 years.
And that's a big problem as well. Activision have got a hell of a lot more greedy over the past couple of years, especially with the supply drops.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why
AW onwards, it has got a hell of a lot worse.
Well, I was gonna say just look at all the videos people made on AW, the supply drop videos. Like that was a craze at one point, and where you could actually like make more money out of you know buying supply from buying supply drops from the revenue on videos.
Yeah.
Well, you look at it and it's Black Ops, right? Look at IW and AW. Both of them had variants, all that gay shit. Black Ops 3 had supply drops, but it was camos and stuff. It wasn't really things that affected.
I think the weapons were a bit harsh towards the end when we like recently as well because that's continued on.
But not even that is look. How come in IW we got a CWL thing which was shit, but in Black Ops 3 they were giving us team packs so you could wear your team's camo. The camos were fucking brilliant.
I'll say, well, going into that, like going into the next topic, Nova's been shouting at me to change topic. So should esports go into like the Olympics and so on and so forth? You know, we've seen like a little bit try and go, you know, to the X Games and so on and so forth, but on a big level like that.
Olympics, I don't think it should for the main fact that esports is its own thing. Right? It isn't. It is. You do have athletes in it because you do have the people that sit there and grind it out every single day, but it's not for the Olympics. It's its own unique thing, and let it be that.
I was going to say, like,
The fact that people are discussing putting esports in the Olympics blows my mind. Like, these are just, most people who sit around and game are not athletes. Right, let's just please make it clear. Like, they tend to be just unemployed / young people who enjoy playing a game. Like, you shouldn't get a gold freaking medal for playing a game. Like, it's honestly, it's bizarre. Like, if you're telling me that, you know,
nah, come on, man. My favourite sports is esports.
But like, being good at a game is not the same as being able to do the long jump, right? Like, it doesn't take years of like training and fucking physical sacrifice.
Yeah.
If anything, it does take a lot of practice for sure. But it's the same as darts, for example. Darts isn't in the Olympics because it's just not. Like, it is technically a sport, but to stand there and throw darts over and over, you can't win a gold medal for that. Like,
well, I was gonna say, just look at the people that actually play darts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, they're all like, well, not to be rude, but like they're all overweight and
I think
drink beer and like, well, that's what they do down there. They drink beer like throughout the games and
every professional darts player is sponsored by a beer company.
yeah.
I think that's the same thing with like secondary sports, though. I think if we look at all secondary sport, I say secondary sports,
Snooker.
right? Darts is one of them, snooker, bowls, stuff like that, right? The list goes on where these sports, which don't really involve much activeness and are just called sports, on the fact that you can't really call them anything else. Exactly. All of them, you know, are they at the Olympics? Are any of these sports? I'm not sure if they are. I hope not.
I was gonna say, watch him come out like.
We'll just call it snookers in the Olympics, darts is in the Olympics. We're just sitting here like, fuck.
You've got the one where they shoot out discs and you have to shoot them. That's at the Olympics.
It's generally quite hard though. Trust me, I've tried that. It's quite hard to do.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah, but then
it's not exactly active, is it?
On that same level, you can say it's hard to do, but surely so is COD Esports on that level. Not suggesting it should be the Olympics.
I was gonna say with the Olympics, it would also take like organisations out. It would stop the pay because athletes don't get paid, don't they? It's all down to like sponsorships and
stupid shit.
And you wouldn't have there'd be players for and it wouldn't work because you wouldn't have players like
because it's got to be from the natural
like UK, Germany, US, Australia.
Which wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily. And to be fair, I wouldn't mind a concept whereby we'd have this sort of like World Cup thing whereby it wasn't Olympics at all. Like if there was a separate tournament for esports, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I don't think.
Yeah, but it can't be worldwide for the main fact that you'd be sending people from like fucking China and and like Asia.
Oh, I was gonna say, I kind of watch more Overwatch than like COD scene and that. And South Korea's like, because they have their own World Cup, the Overwatch World Cup, and they do that once a year. But South Korea just dominates. They mess around in it, like where every nation's taking it seriously. They're like, it's alright. It's just a free trophy.
Well,
I think as well that you'd have the issue of who would you put on each team, because if you had the US team, like you have 100 different players that potentially could be on that team, you know.
Well, I'll probably just put the Optic Gaming roster on. Just at this point.
I think you'd have to prevent that by some kind of rule. Like you couldn't have more than one player from each team, or one player from each pro team who have played under this many events or whatever. Some kind of ruling would prevent that.
Wait, but I don't know. Isn't one of the Optic players from Canada?
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say. So he would have to find a different team for that. Well, I was gonna say even if they get into the Olympics, because not every single country is getting into the Olympics.
Yeah, that's true. Some of the arguments that have been put forth on why esports shouldn't be in the Olympics. It's too violent. Are you fucking kidding me? We have shooting is like, but shooting on a video screen? No.
I think when you talk about that kind of argument, though, you have to look all the way back to when we had the E-League introduced into CS:GO. Completely different game, obviously, but still in the esports.
Well, I was going to say, this is about esports, not just COD.
Right, and I think looking at that, the backlash that they received on those levels, like Arby's and places like that, where they got a lot of the trash talked against them because they were essentially airing a violent video game on TV. And on that level, of course, this video game would be aired on TV as the Olympics would be. Is that another block? Is that another issue?
Don't ESPN have their own esports television show, though?
I think so.
Yeah.
But again, but yeah, you like have to pay for that though, don't you? It's not like on BBC or ITV.
Yes, well, some like on Virgin, I think you get it for free.
That's good.
Pretty sure I know how
Thanks,
much.
right, I know
Cool
where I'm
story.
going now. Virgin.
Let's not start calling each other that, man. Alright, this is a friendly call for fuck's sake. But
The
no,
person here that is that
Right.
is you.
But I mean, it's not just for COD because
Fucking
like you know, some games aren't 18 rated or mature, you know, some are like 12, like CS:GO or so. So maybe they could potentially, you know, if you're going off that side.
I suppose so, but it just opens up the argument and it just excludes everyone else, though.
Yeah, you can't have one esport and exclude another.
Yeah, that's what will happen though. If you have the Olympics, you'll have games like FIFA being played because it's just
Fuck's sake.
free.
Yeah, and I think that was actually the conclusion they reached as well. When they were discussing putting esports in the Olympics, they were talking about FIFA and sports games essentially being the only esports they were deciding to put in.
So yeah, what's the point when they've got the actual
already
sports
there.
there in the Olympics?
That's it. We've just watched the football, and now we're going to go over to the video game football. That'd be so fucking interesting.
And that's even worse as well. That is a hell of a lot worse than FPS esports, and I don't know what you call them, top-down esports like League of Legends and Dota 2. That's a hell of a lot worse to even put on TV. Even though I don't think it's on TV.
But their community is actually massive, though. You just look on Twitch alone. You know, say like, so my mum probably doesn't know what Twitch is. But you know, she knows what BBC is, so like that could like create like such a big scene for esports.
It won't do. I think everyone's taken, oh, should esports be into the Olympics as a good thing? Like, yes, it should, but then it's no longer what it is it? It's no longer esports. It's fucking an Olympic sport. When does it stop being esports and start being a sport with certain rules and crap like that? Like,
It's just not a sport.
it shouldn't be in the Olympics.
That's the issue. I think many people get confused when you say the term esport. They automatically think, "Why are you calling it sport?" Well, it's not. They're two completely different concepts. At least in my opinion, an esport is its own term. It's completely separate from sports. And I don't think in any way calling someone an esport athlete is the right way to describe someone who plays esports, or maybe a player or something like that, right? But I think that the way that esports is marketed in the outside world, outside of the small scene and esports which we live in, that is the problem. I think that's the biggest issue.
There's definitely
it's very hard to convince people to watch esports.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of stereotypes with it, like because you know it's not on like you know, on the mainstream TV and so on and so forth. Like only the people that are in esports know about esports.
I mean, it happened when the first time they went to the X Games, isn't it? In Ghosts, when Optic won it. There were just so many people there that were just like, why is this here?
There was a lot of athletes as well. I think there was a lot of athletes
complaining about it.
digging.
Oh yeah, like they could get a gold and then like somebody that's
someone sat down on their ass for 8 hours playing a video game and got the same thing. Nah, esports. Yes, you go.
Go on.
What are you talking about?
Me.
So, go on. Cypher's about to go. Go on.
Esports. Oh, okay. Esports is its own thing. Just let it be its own thing. Have our own stuff. Right? We don't need gold fucking medals. We don't need shit on the Olympics.
Did the winners get paid, or is it just literally the gold medal?
X
Games, no.
No, I was gonna say that's kind of the good thing with I know like mainstream sports like football is kind of like behind scenes and everything. You know, you drop down from the Premier League, you get like a certain million or something. Whereas like this more like forward where there's a prize pool.
Yeah.
Football's stupid for money.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like going into that, like esports is going into that really. Like as I said earlier, like Sinatra from Overwatch is gaining 150k a year, like just to like sit down and play Overwatch. And he's not even old enough to actually compete in the league yet as well. So like that, putting money into that is a bit risky, I'm guessing.
So Nova put in the chat about arrogant people that don't understand esports mock it. Does it annoy you? My personal opinion on that is I don't really care if they don't understand esports and they want to be like, oh, it's not a sport. Like, I agree with them, but if they sit around and go, oh, why are people being sat around paid to game? To be honest with you, like, the publicity behind esports is fucking cool. Like, you look at some of the biggest brands in the world, like Audi have just got involved in esports and sponsoring a team. I think it's a CS team.
I'll say,
it was Astralis, I think.
Yeah, like, you're looking at big brands because these tournaments are getting millions of viewers, sometimes concurrently.
Yeah.
And that is seriously powerful. If I'm going to sit there and look at TV shows like Heartbeat on BBC Two, right, they're getting like 400,000 concurrent viewers at a time, and then you're watching CS and it's getting 900,000. There's a lot of money there. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't really annoy me because they don't understand it because they're idiots, and I kind of feel bad for them in a sense because we're all involved in a scene where there's stupid money involved in it. There's stupid publicity. There's so much potential that, in essence, you kind of just have to feel bad for them for being ignorant, and you just go, well, I'll tell you what, you carry on doing your 9 to 5 stacking shelves at Tesco, and then we'll come back and talk. Like, they tend to be those types of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the people that have got nothing, and like you said, that they don't understand like the scene, what goes behind it, and and like with that, as you said, like with Audi, but a lot of businesses that have been created, because of esports as well. Like Scuff Gaming and like Gamma Lag, so on and so forth. They've created because of esports, and and how big they've got.
We.
I think a lot of it is to do with it being a relatively new thing. I mean, presumably the same thing happened when like football started to become big, like whenever that like the late 1800s or something. People probably like, oh,
where are you going with this?
Where's this? People in the 1800s probably looked at a guy kicking a ball and went, "That's stupid. You should be doing this."
Boy.
Exactly. So I'm saying that a new concept is always going to be hard to push. And when you say, oh, people are going to get paid for it and stuff like that, you're like, well, you're playing a game of football. That's probably what they were saying. You're playing a game of football. What's that doing to, help people or whatever, So I think whenever a new concept comes around, I think there's always going to be people that are going to not agree with it. But I think in 20 or 30 years, I think this all will be quite natural.
Yeah.
Quite natural. I hope not.
Well, I don't think 20 and 30 years.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think 20 and 30 years. I think maybe like 100 years, maybe to an extent. Esports are still going to get ridiculed for quite some time now. But, it depends on what esport you're looking at. Because I think if you look at certain esports compared to others now, they're actually a lot more acceptable. I'd say CS to an extent is extremely acceptable now. Not in mainstream media, maybe. Also, if you went around and said, I watch CS, I do this, it's not a bad thing. But you say the same thing about a casual game like COD, or you say the same thing about a casual game like FIFA, it goes to that point, well, hang on, why are you doing this? This is not the way the game should be played. And actually, if anything, I think that's down to the divide between the players who play it casually and the divide between the players and those who play it competitively. And there's such a big divide between those two groups in specific esports like COD, like FIFA, that compared to other esports, it just is never. I don't think it's ever.
I think it's because like how great the actual competitive scene is in CS. Because like a lot of people like base off like the actual competitive scene, within like just the game, instead of ESCA or Face It.
Yeah.
So I think Nova wants to change topic again.
Yep.
So about apparel. I don't know what you guys' preference on. Say we've got some lovely people here. Repping some apparel. Got the Unity, got Splice, you got Nico's face.
He is an organ himself.
Greedy bastard.
So yeah, just give it a quick shout out.
Yeah, nice guys.
Oh no, you've actually got to notice though, on the hat it says Cryptic, so it's actually not even his own fucking apparel.
you had to slide it in somewhere. I'll say, but I'll say, like, as we was talking earlier before the podcast, say, like, do you think, like, people can wear, gaming apparel within, like...
I think I demonstrated last weekend, no, you can't, apparently.
think a lot of it comes down to.
You can if you just don't give a fuck what people say, but if you're one of the people that sit and like properly care and you're gonna change your clothes, change your whole fucking wardrobe over what people say, then over the fact that it's a t-shirt with a logo on it that no one outside of the community fucking knows what it is.
Well, when you've got like our apparel, for example, like this, I probably wouldn't wear outside purely because it's got my face on it. and it says "Let's go, man," which outside of the context of gaming might
means like let's have a fight.
You trying to fight, yeah. But I was gonna say like,
let's go, man.
Like some apparel, like you can like obviously as talking about like the 100 Thieves. I think everybody's been talking about that. Like you could just wear that, you know, casually like every single day.
100 Thieves.
Yeah, but I mean like the design that they've actually gone for is more like casual that you can wear outside, instead of, you know, just wearing it for streams and so on and so forth. It's like regular day like clothing, really.
I think it kind of depends on the design, right?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like going into fucking Top Man, and you go in like there's certain t-shirts you probably wouldn't wear because they look ridiculous. I think gaming apparel probably shouldn't be worn outside unless the design is sick and it isn't about gaming. I would never wear a cryptic tee outside because I'd look like a knob. However, I would wear, for example, the sweatpants that we've got. So if I'm going to the gym or whatever, and it's got like a tiny, like, it just says cryptic on it on the bottom left, you can't really tell that it's gaming or anything. Like, it's a nice design. So, like, for casual wear, whatever, I think it's absolutely cool. But other than that, I'll just buy other clothes to go out with. Like, I'll buy a nice shirt, or I just get some clothes, really. Like, I wouldn't, like, 100 Thieves stuff, like, it does look good. I'll probably wear it as a jumper. But again, like it just depends on the design. It's like any other piece of clothing.
I was to say, that is like it's just fashion, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's like what happened with you, Cypher. I think that was blown out of proportion. I think personally,
definitely.
I think I wouldn't wear this outside. But it's like if I were to see someone walking around with it, I'd just be like, you know, I wouldn't care. Like I don't care what everyone else wears. It's not, you know, I don't like, and I think it should
let people live.
Yeah, exactly. I think it should be the same. So personally, I think Nova just said in the chat, and I agree with him. He was like, personally, I wouldn't wear outside, but if someone else were to, I wouldn't, you know.
I was gonna say like
the other day.
Even looking at Brody's jumper there, like you could wear that casually like every single day. All the difference is that it's just got you know, a snake logo on it. Otherwise, it would just be like a normal jumper.
You see, yeah, I do wear this when I go out sometimes, which is whether that's bad or good or not. But no one knows what it is, so it's just like, well, you know, it's my hoodie, I like it.
Exactly.
And I think that's probably the thing. If Cypher went out and wore the Aerox tee and he didn't tweet the video and no one knew, then it would have been fine. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, it was fine anyway. But I mean, it like people wouldn't have had a problem with it because no one knows what the Aerox logo is. You know. Maybe Reese doesn't like the Aerox logo, but
in all fairness, though, what if that video was actually a strategic marketing plan all along? It wasn't. But
it backfired.
Just imagine.
It backfired.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably just jumped on the bandwagon with that one. I think
but the reason why people got so upset about it is because, like, there's a difference between popping to the shops on a Sunday night to go and pick up some ice cream in, you know, an Aerox t-shirt and going out on a Saturday night, like, with your mates. Like, I think the argument that they were making, which I do kind of understand, is surely you've got something else. Surely you've got, like, a shirt or... like,
it was just like... Cypher's clothes are just fully Aerox.
But that's what the thinking behind it.
I was going to say, like...
perspective. I don't care what anyone wears, like, don't get me wrong, as long as it's not like a... I don't know, like a really weird fucking Nazi t-shirt.
A sumo suit.
It's fine. But like, if
that's how it looked like people were perspective. I'd gone out and wore a fucking Nazi t-shirt or some shit going, this is the best.
Yeah, like,
I'd have a problem with anything else, I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've got some, like, Fuyu apparel. Like, I'll just chill in it. Like, it's because, like, they're quite comfy clothing, really. That you know, the company designers that do make. So it's just like, it's good to chill in, like, and you can, like, say, like, play video games or so on and so forth if You don't want to be in your birthday suit.
Like I just when I'm at like I just wear whatever I get from whatever the first thing is that I see. You know?
On top of the drawer.
Yeah. So what about no, go on.
What I was going to say is like, because I live in London, right, which means there's obviously a lot more people. So I work in Leicester Square, and I see quite a lot of tourists come through, and I see FaZe hoodies a lot, which I was quite weirded out by. A lot, man. Like literally, it's I'd sit because sometimes I go and like I go for a beer at lunch or whatever, and I sit outside and just chill out, and I'll just see maybe like every day, like I'd say 3 to 5 people wearing the FaZe hoodie, right? For me, I'm like, why are you wearing that? Just my opinion, like,
yeah,
because I'm sat there like it's a really known brand. I get that, like they're a really cool organization, but I'm sat there going, surely like you've got a jumper, which you know it's not so game related, and we're not talking young kids here. We're talking like grown men wearing FaZe jumpers.
I was gonna say yeah, but they do have like a massive fan base.
Yeah,
like from all ages. Say that talking about like esport apparel, they are so expensive.
Yeah, but I guess they're the same pricing as sport apparel, and making that direct comparison as well. Like you're going to expect to pay the same amount for an Optic jersey as you would for a Man United jersey, if not less. So actually, to be fair, it's what's
I was going to
expected.
say, it probably also doesn't help that like most of the companies from there is based in America, so you paid like an extra like £12 shipping to start off with.
Yeah, you see though, it depends on who you know how much the apparel costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say like if you're like within the organ, obviously, then you're gonna get a discount. So well, that's with like any sponsor really.
Or you know, if you go onto a random website on the internet, take the logo, slap it on a T-shirt, you can get that for £3.94.
Yeah, but one thing which I think is worth mentioning is also like the comparison between sports and esports again. So with apparel, if I see someone walking around or on a night out wearing a Liverpool shirt, like I'm like, what are you doing? Like, dress like relatively nicely. Do you know what I mean? It's the same on that front. So it's not me digging out people because they're wearing gaming stuff. It's the same with sports as well. Like, you must have something else you can wear. If I'm going to the pub to watch football, I'll whack on my football top. If I'm going to I-60, I'm whacking on my cryptic gear, right? Yeah. It's all situational. And I think that's what the problem have been in the past and recently, like with yourself, Cypher. It's kind of saying, look, like there are like situations where gaming apparel is really good to rep. Same for sports apparel, but in other environments, it's not so much. It's a tricky one. Like,
I was going to say like jerseys and that like within football are quite lazy clothes. Do you know what I mean? Like you just put it on to, like that's what you mainly see like people popping down the shops or something. As you said earlier.
Yeah, because they're comfy.
yeah, they are comfy. That's the problem. You probably wear them too much, then get in your comfort zone and you're up on a night out.
See, that wasn't everyone keeps thinking that I went out on like a proper night out up the town. I didn't. I went to a rented hall by my best friend who I've known for 17 years. I've known this person since she was 1 year old. I knew there wasn't going to be many people there, so I seen that T-shirt and I just sort of went, "Why not?" Slapped on a shirt over it.
Now you know why not.
I
just told you why not.
I was gonna say I like what Dicey just said in the chat. Like if you spend that amount of money, like you should be wearing it. Do you know what I mean? Like you should be getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a T-shirt I paid for. I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah, it's the same with football shirts though as well. Like it's £60 for a Man United top or whatever. Yeah. It's a lot of bloody money. It's just about the situations where it's deemed as socially acceptable. It all depends on your mindset. My personal mindset is I've got plenty of clothes that I don't want to wear gaming stuff out. That's just it. But other people may feel differently. They'll be like, look, I spent £60 on a Man United top. I'm fucking going out wearing my Man United top, which is cool. Like everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I think it also depends on like where you're going and the reasons for it. Like if I'm going out on the pool, I ain't wearing a fucking Liverpool t-shirt. I'm not getting any girls if I turn up and I'm in my Liverpool kit, right? It's just not going to happen. Like even if she's the biggest Liverpool fan in the world, she's going to be like, what are you doing wearing that? Like, just it doesn't make sense. Like if I turn up in a full kit, right, with shin pads, what are you doing? Like,
got the boots on.
I'll just turn up and I'm like, hey.
Well, I don't finish. You're talking about situational clothing, right? this is the last time I'm going to bring up my experience. At the end of the day, I don't have many clothes, as my mother, when I got chucked out, set my wardrobe on fire. I have 6 t-shirts.
Hang on, go back
3
a
of
little
them are
bit. Go
Aerox.
back a little bit. Go
One's
back a little bit.
Hang on.
Why?
Go back a little bit.
Okay.
Your mum set your wardrobe on fire.
Right, go on.
See, like, I didn't even realise that though. That's the thing. Like, most
Here we
people probably
go,
don't know.
here we go.
Yeah, we're getting into some nice stuff here.
I was made aware that you got kicked out of your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't
It wasn't.
aware that you.
I'm looking at my wardrobe now, right? I have 4 pairs of jeans, 2 work uniforms, 6 t-shirts, 4 of them being Aerox t-shirts, 1 being a Bulldog t-shirt, and 1 being a plain white and black t-shirt. Actually, I have a red one as well, so I've got 7, and I have 3 jumpers, an Aerox one, a Bulldog one, and a heap of shit that's like just grey. Right?
Bro,
I haven't had the chance to go out and go fucking
Sorry,
proper shopping for some
you-
foolish shit, but...
The thing I'd say, right, is I looked at the chat and the OBN dudes, like, depends if you want to live your life constantly thinking about what other people think. I don't care who you are, you always give a shit what other people think. Always, no matter what. You can be the biggest asshole in the entire world, like Katie Hopkins, for example. She cares what people think. She may not care if it's all negative or positive, but she's looking for a reaction. No matter who you are, what walk of life, you care what other people think. And in these situations, as I said, it depends on your intention for going out. If it's to the shops to go and pick up some ice cream, wear what you want. You can literally wear nothing if you want to. Like, if that's what you want to do, you'll get arrested.
That's illegal.
Like,
That's not gonna happen.
But do you know what I mean? Like, you can wear whatever the hell you want, as long as it's not offensive. It just depends on the social situation involved in that. Like, 100 Thieves, I would wear every day. Like, well, obviously not the same jumper I'd wash. But what I'm saying is, like, you could wear that pretty much anywhere. You wouldn't wear it on a night out, but you'd wear it, you know, if you're going to the shops, going to work, like, whatever, because it's really, really nice. The design behind it isn't gaming focused. It's literally just a brand within itself.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's
like,
how it differentiates.
Yeah, it's the same with, well, got my Fuyu top here. I wouldn't wear it out just because it's got a massive duck on it. But like, if people don't know that, like, it's just like a normal top that like you could get in Primark or so on and so forth.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think you're all from England. See, up in Scotland, you see people wearing the most bizarre shit fucking ever. I'm not even.
That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. We're Scottish. We don't have a sense of style. We don't know what the fuck we're doing half the time. We're all alcoholics, apparently.
I was gonna say, well,
there's
there's the duck on the top.
I can't actually play a bagpipe. I've played in a band for 2 years.
You're a walking stereotype.
You are.
Me? I am. I drink a lot, I swear a lot, and I'm a very angry person down at the core.
You own a kilt?
Yes, I do own a kilt, and I'm actually wearing it to the next Call of Duty event.
Oh, I thought you said you was wearing it this podcast.
You don't help yourself, bro. You don't
I'm not.
You're on the bottom, Aerox t-shirt on the top.
Maybe an
kilt. You're gonna look like a gimp, mate. Just trust me. Just don't.
I'm not.
Kilts, man.
No, I'm kidding.
Jeans and a t-shirt, okay?
Well, no, I have to wear it to my jersey.
Oh, Jesus Christ! As long as you have a jersey and a kilt. If you turn up in a jersey and a kilt, honestly, I'll still turn up in like flip-flops as well.
I'm not
take a picture with you.
I'd be too embarrassed, like get away from me.
Exactly. I wouldn't say that. I'd be like, come towards me, we'll get a picture.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not gonna wear a kilt. That was a joke. I've said that to so many people. It's probably the most negative fucking response I've ever got. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, dude, it'll be funny." You're like, "Don't, you'll be a fucking gimp."
Okay. I've done some weird stuff on the internet.
But
I don't know where you're going with this.
Like, no, whoa, no, but I mean, like when I was streaming, like, I've got a sumo suit, and I'll wear that to stream, but I would not go outside and wear like my sumo suit.
Probably be fun.
What's this? What do you mean, like?
Yeah.
It adds fat on you or something?
Yeah, it's like an actual sumo suit.
I don't think Esports apparel is comparable to a sumo suit.
But I like talking about my sumo suit. Okay, I like talking about it.
Suit. You just said like see me suit. That's what I heard.
Hang on, sorry. Clarify what you just said.
Sumo.
Wow.
Seaman suit.
What?
Siemens.
Okay, we have like an accent problem.
I
over
was
here.
gonna say,
The
like,
communication barrier.
Yeah.
Michael, why are you blue?
Yeah, I was gonna say that about like half an hour ago.
Aerox changing colours.
Yeah, you look like an avatar.
what? I turned my light on. Like, I got like all pixely.
Oh, you're yellow.
Oh,
Oh,
no, you're
yeah.
yellow.
Oh, you've turned
Yeah.
into a
Wow.
Simpson.
What is this?
Whoa,
What do I want to be, the
magic.
Simpsons or an Avatar? Okay, fucking hell.
Simpsons.
Be an avatar. Oh.
Oh,
Simpsons.
2-for-1 on The Simpsons.
I thought, did Avatar ever bring out a second movie?
no.
Coming out like the next year. No, it's coming out like next year.
Of
He
course
just-
I know that.
Was- Did they?
Speaking of new films, I still haven't seen Finding Dory.
How?
Oh man, but I need to
Oh,
watch it.
dear.
I think we need to do a Q&A. Because this is just a game.
Right,
Well,
yeah,
find it.
I feel like I feel like we should be like ending it now.
I think we should do a Q&A to end it.
Q&A. Question.
What do you want to get questions from chat or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, chat. I guess you know the deal. Ask questions, mainly not asked at me, please.
Oh, so I don't have
Where are
the
you-
on my phone. Well, you have to read them out, mate. That's
Yeah.
the nomination.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll read them out then.
Got to wait now for the questions to come through. There's a delay on stream.
Yeah.
About
I think there's only like a 7-second delay.
Oh.
Wow.
So is
Wow, dude.
it? Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, go on.
Well, I'm waiting for questions. What do you want me to
Well, you gotta
do?
just do something.
Where'd you buy the Unity top from?
Where do I buy that Unity? Actually,
I was gonna say, got given.
Gamers Apparel have a specific. If you like tweet at the Unity or tweet me later, I'll find it for you. But I don't actually know because I didn't buy it. I got it for free.
I was gonna say,
So-
yeah, they gave you free stuff, but not me. I see how I had to win a
Because
giveaway to get
Because I'm
mine.
the better caster. That's what it is.
Wow.
Saying.
Favorite type of squirrel?
Red.
There's a type. Hang on, sorry. There's types of squirrel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yo,
there's
look,
a
yo,
squirrel
a flying squirrel, like that thing swooped down.
Reese is ready to kill himself.
Oh, miss.
Yeah, flying squirrel.
Can we get some good questions? Because I think you're just reading bullshit.
A favorite favorite esport logo.
That's a good question.
Fuck, that is actually a good
Okay,
question.
okay. Now going back to 100 feet, I do not like their logo, the 100 feet logo.
100, isn't it?
It's so like basic.
It's
nature
just
art,
word.
that
It's
stuff.
just word art.
Yeah.
I like my favourite logo's probably the Luminosity logo, to be honest.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
I like the Splice logo. Saying that, like, I'm a fan of the
Yeah.
team, but beyond
Also,
that,
Tainted Minds is that logo's nice as well. That's probably the best thing coming out of
Their
APAC.
fucking fashion choice.
yeah.
I tell you what though, best logo's got to be the Aerox logo. That's the best one by far.
I'm not being
Reese hates that logo.
not being biased. I'm not being biased, but like the cryptic logo is pretty nice.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
I can go to the zoo and see one of them.
Come on.
You can't
Um,
a snow leopard, not a snow leopard, mate. Good luck trying to fucking find a snow
I'm
leopard
sorry.
at the zoo.
Nova's coming. I've probably seen bias here. I'm probably seeing bias here, but Nova keeps coming up with the good questions. Favorite esport that you like to watch? So I'm guessing that's probably a good side. You know, being an owner, like going into the best, like because it gets the best like viewer base and so on and so forth.
I really like watching Overwatch.
Yeah, I was gonna say Overwatch. Yeah.
I don't understand Overwatch at all, right? Not a clue. There's these motherfuckers with like green cannons and stuff like that. I don't understand it. But when like I sit there and I watch it, like it's
Yeah.
so like action packed and
Yeah, it's
aggressive
very
and
team oriented.
yeah,
Rated,
it's really cool. Like it's the strategy in it. It's not one of those games which is like really like slow and like building up. Like CS is great. I love CS.
It's
but
very repetitive.
there are times where you're like, oh, because it is literally the same thing constantly, and the gunfights tend to work the same direction. It's one tap dead. Whereas with Overwatch, there's more involved. It's consistent gun skill, which I find really interesting. COD though will always be my favorite game apart from IW.
Okay.
I loved watching AW, hence why I casted it. I loved watching Black Ops 2. Same for Ghosts, to be honest with you. I loved watching that. And IW, watching it, isn't that bad as well. So COD is the best for me, but I'd say Overwatch is the surprise up there. I love watching it.
We'll
What
say
about Rocket League. When that's on. Anyone watch
Shit.
Rocket League? I love Rocket
Okay,
League.
I like it.
League's
It's a
so
very
fun.
intense game. Like what people, because I try Rocket League. I'm like, what? How do these like people do it? Like,
Not hard. You just have to fucking charge towards a ball and hit X, basically.
No, but I mean, like, yeah, it's more than
Yes,
that.
I played at 4TG. I placed third in the Rocket League lap.
Right, maybe it is easy then.
Yes.
I was gonna say, like people are talking about Siege. I know, like, I don't know what's going on with Siege, but I enjoy playing it. I don't think I could sit and watch it just because it is like round based.
It's a much worse budget CS:GO.
And you spend half the time like just waiting people like setting up.
Yeah.
Hazard asked a good question.
How can Call of Duty make this year work?
Well, by not being absolute shit.
I was gonna say you know what, the beta actually had a really good reception from everybody. You know, people were even getting into like money 12s and tournaments were going on. I think going back to IW, that's what like that's what they did well. Like a lot of tournament sites did like come up and you know did well from IW.
I was going to say that although the World War II beta was fun for the majority of the first weekend, it got really boring for me.
Shotguns,
there was not enough to do. Whether that's just because it was a beta and there wasn't obviously the full game wasn't out or anything like that. It's just there wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's just like the level cap, wasn't it? Like because you had nothing to actually go for.
There was no diversity. And
snipers are finally good again.
Yeah, I love sniping. That was one thing I did.
It feels like an achievement when you kill someone with a sniper now, instead of just well.
The thing is though, with World War II, with the beta and stuff, I think it's another sort of way in which you look at COD and you think, well, sooner or later everyone finds the stuff to exploit. And I think in that case, in the World War II beta, in the second weekend, everyone just found that you could just run around with the shotguns, the Dragon's Breath.
I said that was.
And as soon as you find that stuff, then it becomes a sort of ball game of who can use it better. That I think is a general problem with COD. I don't think it's going to be exclusive to World War II.
I was going to say, like I think that all started from, wasn't it Prestigious Keys video? That like showed it off, and then like once that,
always the YouTubers?
Once that happened, then like it kind of went out of proportion.
Yeah.
Well, the best way to fucking make World at War II brilliant, take rapid fire and high caliber out of the fucking game.
High cal was in it.
Do you know?
And both of them are now.
Do you know what was actually really good from War? War was such a good game mode for me.
War, I loved War.
And it brought out the snipers as well. You know, on that second. If there was more maps, obviously.
On the bridge.
I think with Hazard's question, so like I think there are two things to consider, right? And one of them you guys probably haven't thought about too much. The first one is it's going to sound weird, but you need to tailor COD to the casuals, because the casuals are what feeds the competitive scene. Everyone transitions from casual to competitive. I did it, Cypher, I know you did it, Nico did it, and obviously, I think everyone here did it, to be fair. If you didn't, then you are a weird human, or with super abilities. The more casual you make it, then the more fun people are going to have. Right now, you know, casual COD is so hard. The supply drops, the variants, there's so many like pay-to-win elements. And I think with the next COD, if we take that away and we make it more fun, which the beta was really fun, it's the best time I've had on COD in literally years. So that's the first element. But the second element of it, and this is what people don't consider, is it's all about personalities. We need personalities in Call of Duty, especially European COD. So if you look at the NAC, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you an example. So 2 years ago with Black Ops 3 Competitive, there was a team called Fabi, which you guys should remember, right? Yep. The roster was Kivy, Gunnerly, someone else, and Visca Barca, right? Visca Barca going into that team took viewership from German COD to 10k to 50k, like that, right? It completely like revolutionized the way that Fabi was perceived because of that pickup, right? He was vlogging at events, he was engaging with people, and essentially it meant that more people cared. So more casual people came up and said, "Oh, I want to see if Visca Barca does well." Look at the viewership take a massive hit when Nade Shot left, right? It dipped so hard. Look at, Sensor, for example. Viewership dipped. All of these big personalities are so crucial to getting people involved.
I was going to say, and this year, they're coming back.
Yeah.
Well,
most of them. Great. But most people, like, or most of the players, need to invest more in their brand. Because if you look at European COD players, and this isn't me putting anyone on blast because I like a lot of the guys, but if you look at who do you know in the European COD scene who's a personality? I can think of maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, I was going to say Tommy, that's about it, yeah.
Tommy is the first one. He's got his apparel line, top guy, always streaming, always engaging with people. But how many people actually do that? Rated started doing it recently, and I love Rated because he's hilarious, right? But other players just don't do it. They just don't care because they're on their salaries, they're kind of doing their thing, they're putting time into practicing. Marky B was awesome at doing that back in the day. I think he stopped doing it as much, which is fair enough, it's his decision, but if you build up a following for these players, you invest into the personalities and the branding, viewership follows. And from viewership, then comes more investment into the game itself. It's how it works. If COD is getting 500,000 viewers, Activision will look at that and be like, fuck, like, we need to invest in this shit even more than we're already doing. That's how, like, you grow it. So, for me, there's only so much publishers can do apart from make the game enjoyable. If they make the game enjoyable, then it comes down to the top players to say, right, okay, let's build something. But unfortunately, a lot of them don't because they're happy just sitting behind their screens, just being a bit boring, to be honest with you. And as I said, that's not me roasting anyone. It's just how it is. You've got to have a personality to stream, and a lot of the players just don't really have a lot of personality, so it's quite tricky.
Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, okay. I was just going to say, you've just got to look at the difference between America and EU in that perspective. Look at how many European fans and everything love the American players, but I don't think that many American players, like amateurs or even just viewers, like many people in Europe for the main fact that no one does that. No one's built their personality. I mean, America, you've got Optic Phase and that. What stops EU from doing that? You just need people with a personality, people that want to do it, people that say, why not?
Yeah.
The thing, well, someone's just put in the chat there, as in Nova. Hey Jay, Copley and Cal, like, Copley's a great example of this, and it's same for Hey Jay, right? Cal I don't know too much about. But Hey Jay recently has been streaming out of his mind, right?
Yeah.
The guy is funny. The guy is just normal. He's not a twat. And I'm not saying that he's going to be the next fucking Nadeshot, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that because he's putting so much effort into it, people are naturally going to start caring more. So if they see Hey Jay is playing on main stage of fucking I-64 or whatever, even if it's an extra 5 people that come over, it's still that extra branding. Do you know what I mean? And right now, we're not having enough of that. Even in the NA scene, you've got Optic, and then who else does it really? Like, not many. Like, they don't really have that big of a following compared to the rest of them because most of them sit there and just practice and practice and practice, which I appreciate they don't want to stream their scrims because you give away strats, etc. But there has to be a balance. And Scumper's got that balance down to a fucking T, right? That's why he's the most known player in COD right now, as well as him being a beast. But now we need that to be worldwide. I can't name a single Australian player because I don't know any of them that stream or do anything of relevance, right? There's no YouTube, there's nothing. It's like they just can't be bothered. And if they had someone who was massive in that scene to carry it, like Viscabasa did with German COD, he's proven you take viewership from 10k to 50k based on one player. Like, if we had that all over the world, or in all the regions, and we had them specifically for teams, every team has that one player where they're like, shit, like with Fnatic, oh, Tommy's going to be playing, right, let's tune in. If you look at Millennium, right, Marky B's going to be playing, right, let's look. It's the same for all teams. If they all have one personality, COD will go from getting 100,000 views at COD Champs to 300,000 views at COD Champs. Like, it's as simple as that, but there's no way of securing that because it comes down to people's motivation to do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, going back, I know I keep talking about Overwatch, but look at Overwatch's stream, like all the pro players that do stream Overwatch, you know, the personalities that they do have that's created, you know, why Overwatch is like so big now. And you know, and saying like over on the Australian side, they have a lot of Australian YouTubers, so forth, you know, making it even bigger. And with that, you know, look what the esports turned into for them.
Very true, man. Very true. But I think next year will be good for COD. Like, if it fucks up, then there's no excuses for it. It's boots on the ground. There's no variance. God, well, so far. Supply drops will probably be cosmetics and maybe like throwing guns. Like, I don't mind supply drops if there's weapons in it and things like that. Like, because it doesn't affect me too much. As long as it's not a weapon which fires bloody nails at you. Like, what's that about? Why am I seeing that? Why am I seeing a shotgun that fires a laser ball across map and skill kills you in one hit? Like, shit like that, just, it will kill the game. Like, make it realistic. Let's have fun with it. And yeah, like, I think that's what they've done. And fingers crossed, Treyarch next year continue on from that, because Treyarch make the best COD games.
Yeah,
they
it's
do.
going to be a modern shooter as well, I think.
Yeah, they're what they're looking for in their.
Yeah, and a player who's like Prestige 1 at least on Black Ops 3 or something like that, if I remember correctly. Some really weird requirements for working at Treyarch.
Yeah.
Speaking of Treyarch, someone did ask, what did you think of Black Ops 3? I thought
I
that was
enjoyed it.
quite an interesting question, because there was a lot of like 50-50 with it.
Some of the maps were shit, but the game as itself was good.
There's a reason for it being 50-50. I think Black Ops 3, if it didn't have jetpacks, would actually be considered one of the best Call of Duties. I think just because of people's lack of a fondness for jetpacks, I think it's a reason why, if anything, Black Ops 3 gets put in the trash pile. Because ultimately, people don't like jetpacks. Exactly.
Yeah. And
I'll say this. You go, man.
I was gonna say, and there was also like a variety of guns and that, within the competitive scene, it just wasn't two guns over and over again. There was like quite a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go, Reese? You can go.
No, you go, mate. I'll go after you.
All I was gonna say was basically, Black Ops 3 was a fucking. It's the one game I've not properly bitched about that's been a jetpack game. Like, it was fun. There was a lot of good stuff in it. The ban and protect system, I wish they continued that over, because it made you get better with different things, and it did add a different element into everything. And then even playing pubs. I loved pubs on that fucking game. I played them every day. It's great.
Yeah,
Maybe the only person, but yeah.
The thing, what I didn't like about Black Ops 3 is the wall running. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to stick to a wall. Like, swimming's cool. Like, everything else is cool. Like, I don't mind jumping in the air like Advanced Warfare. Like, Black Ops 3 took a really good step in making the boosts, time orientated. So you could only boost so much in a certain period of time. But for me, the wall running was just AIDS. I don't want to look at walls and roofs and 50 feet in the air. Like, because I got some really naughty kill cams, right, on Infection, where you're running on that wall next to the B bomb site, for example, and you go right up to the top, and they're like, where the fuck is this guy? Infection.
Yeah.
Infection.
Yeah.
Oh, the map Infection, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about the game mode Infection.
Nah. Right? So you go on that map, right, and you, next to the B bomb site, you wall run and go up and up and up, and you just stay up there. That shit I don't want to look at. Like, if I'm looking around a bomb site, I don't want to have to look 50 feet in the air on some guy, like, clinging onto the bloody map as if he's, like, a really shitty version of Spider-Man. Like, I want it so, like, if people can jump in there, that's cool, that's cool, I get that. But when you're stuck to the wall, that's what really annoyed me about the game. Like, I grinded it out like crazy. I got to, like, level 400 prestige mass, whatever, because I liked it. But for me, that's what made it quite tricky. Specialists I didn't mind. I thought they were quite cool. It was just the wall running for me.
So, what do you prefer then, the wall running or the dashing?
I didn't like the fact you could dash on the ground, right? I casted a moment, and I swear to you, I'll never forget this, right? It was on Riot S&D. It was Mad Cat, I think, and it was on Nolson, right? So
dashes behind the bomb.
Right, yeah. So Mad Cat, right? He's planting the bomb, right? And as he's planting the bomb, Nolson shoots him from behind. Mad Cat dashes back, spins around, and kills him instantly. Right? That, for me, it makes hit detection really funky, like, no matter what. And it makes it really bloody difficult. Like, as I said, I want to shoot someone. I don't want them to fuck off.
Yeah, like, you can, like, just dodge bullets.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But I prefer the dashing to wall running. Because I said wall running adds a dynamic where you can go so high in the air that you're not even in the map. Like, it's not fair competitively. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Whereas dashing, all players can kind of do it. Like in S&D, for example, Nolson could have dashed as well, right? So there's counters to it. Whereas wall running 50 feet in the air, there's no counter to that. It's irrelevant. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was saying, like, with that, like, getting into glitch spots because of it, it was sort of like wasn't it Clayster that?
Oh yeah, the fucking and shit for showing the glitch spots off.
Yeah.
Like, we could wall run up onto this and then get onto this bit and then look at the fucking bomb site for some reason.
Right.
Stupid stuff like that though. They don't think about when they make the game. Like, they don't think, people can abuse this, people can abuse that. The game's what we make of it. Once it's released, it's in our hands to do what the fuck we want.
True.
Yeah, they bring up updates, but there's always going to be something else you can do that's not being found.
Right, yeah. So I think we're going to end it off here. You know, thank you, Brody, Reese, Nico, and Cypher for joining us today. I know it's been a bit of a mad rush in the end to get everybody going, but yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you, stream. I think we've had like a consistent 30 viewers. So you've been amazing. It will be uploaded on YouTube if you did miss anything tomorrow at 8 o'clock, I think. I was trying to think. So yeah, I'm gonna say see you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Awesome.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that